Imagine a path to deep inner peace and enlightenment that requires no allegiance to any organized religion. Could spirituality exist entirely independent of religious structures? Today, we uncover the Buddhist perspective on how you can be truly spiritual without following a religion. When we think about spirituality, we often imagine it wrapped up in the doctrines, rituals, and symbols of organized religion. But what if spirituality is something broader, something fundamental and personal, that does not rely on religious institutions or dogma? Buddhism presents a fascinating lens through which to explore this very idea, because, although many assume Buddhism is a religion, it is also a profound spiritual tradition with practical teachings that transcend religious boundaries. Let's embark on this journey to understand how you can cultivate spirituality without religion, drawing from the timeless wisdom of Buddhism. Buddhism begins not with a deity, but with the direct experience of suffering and the quest to transcend it. The core teachings focus on understanding the nature of suffering, its causes, and how to liberate oneself from its grasp through personal insight and practice. At its heart, Buddhism is about awakening the mind to reality as it truly is free from delusion and unwholesome attachments. This emphasis on experiential insight creates a spiritual path that is accessible regardless of one's religious beliefs or lack thereof. Buddhism invites you to explore your inner world, cultivating mindfulness, concentration, and ethical living. This path encourages you to look inward to your own mind and body as the source of transformation, rather than relying on external rituals or divine intervention. In Buddhism, the word for spiritual awakening is enlightenment, or nirvana, which means the end of suffering and the achievement of profound peace and freedom. This state is not a reward for faith or adherence to dogma, but a realization accessible to anyone willing to commit to honest self-examination and disciplined practice. The Buddha himself discouraged blind faith, urging followers to test his teachings through their own experience and reason. This approach invites skeptics and seekers alike to embark on a spiritual journey grounded in observation, experimentation, and personal growth, rather than religious doctrine. Central to Buddhist spiritual practice is mindfulness, a simple yet powerful tool to cultivate presence and clarity. Mindfulness means paying full attention to whatever arises in your experience with openness and non-judgment. By practicing mindfulness, you begin to see the patterns of your thoughts and emotions and how they shape your perception of reality. This awareness is itself a deeply spiritual process, because it reveals the impermanent and interconnected nature of all things, encouraging wisdom, compassion, and a sense of unity with life. Another pillar of Buddhist spirituality is meditation, which provides a structured method to cultivate concentration, insight, and tranquility. Meditation is not about escaping reality, but about engaging with it fully and clearly. Through meditative practice, you develop the ability to calm the restless mind, observe your inner states, and foster positive qualities like loving kindness and equanimity. These qualities nurture a spiritual well-being that can flourish independently of religious belief or membership. Buddhism also emphasizes ethical conduct as the foundation for a spiritual life. The Five Precepts serve as practical guidelines to abstain from harming living beings, stealing, false speech, sexual misconduct, and intoxication. These precepts are not commandments from a deity, but voluntary commitments that support personal growth, social harmony, and mental clarity. By living ethically, you create the conditions conducive to spiritual awakening without needing religious authority or dogma. It is important to clarify that Buddhism in many cultures functions as an organized religion with temples, monks, and rituals. However, the spiritual essence of Buddhism can be embraced in secular ways too. Many modern practitioners identify as spiritual but not religious, integrating meditation and mindfulness into daily life without engaging in traditional religious forms. They focus on the experiential aspects of Buddhist teachings, cultivating inner peace, insight, and ethical living, while remaining independent of any religious institution. From this perspective, Buddhism offers a universal approach to spirituality that honors direct experience, personal responsibility, and open inquiry. So how does this Buddhist view apply practically if you want to be spiritual without religion? First, you acknowledge that spirituality is about a relationship with your own mind and heart, rather than following external beliefs. You cultivate mindfulness to become present aware and accepting of your current experience. You practice meditation to develop mental clarity, concentration, and insight into your nature. You reflect on your intentions and behaviors to live ethically in a way that supports well-being for yourself and others. You remain open to revising your understanding based on your experiences rather than clinging to any fixed dogma. In this way, spirituality becomes a dynamic, ongoing process of awakening, not a static set of beliefs to adhere to. At its best, this path leads to greater peace, happiness, and compassion, which are valuable in any context, religious or secular. Another powerful dimension is the emphasis on interdependence and compassion in Buddhism. Recognizing that all beings are connected diminishes isolation and nurtures empathy and kindness towards oneself and others. This spiritual perspective encourages practices that transcend self-interest and promote harmony with the wider community and environment. Such a spiritual outlook can flourish independently of religious identity, while enriching human relationships and global awareness. Finally, it is worth addressing the common misconception that spirituality without religion is shallow or incomplete. On the contrary, Buddhistic spirituality offers deep philosophical insights, rigorous methods for mental transformation, and a well-established ethical framework. It demonstrates that spirituality can thrive outside the boundaries of organized religion, supporting a profoundly meaningful and fulfilling life. In conclusion, Buddhism invites us to reconsider what it means to be spiritual. It presents a path where the heart of spirituality lies in direct experience, self-awareness, and ethical living, rather than religious affiliation or dogma. You can be deeply spiritual without religion by cultivating mindfulness, meditation, compassion, and wisdom inspired by Buddhist teachings. This approach opens the door to spiritual awakening for anyone, regardless of faith background or none at all. Ultimately, spirituality is a universal human capacity accessible through honest inquiry and dedicated practice. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this wisdom with others who may benefit from it. We'll see you in the next video.